I'm Marguerite Kremen. Today I'm speaking with Bridgette Levy from the Private Sector Collaborative. They've just recently launched a new initiative called Imagine Jamaica. Imagine Jamaica. I'm sure those two words get a lot of people's imaginations running. Tell us what the project is about and how it came about.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that it does spur the imagination, because that's what we wanted. We wanted people to really get that they could imagine a Jamaica and that they could actually make a difference. And so that's how we started, really looking at how corporate Jamaica could get involved in creating the Jamaica that we all want to live in.
What are some of the specific projects that Imagine Jamaica will focus on this year?
We have four main focuses. The first would be to share with private sector companies about corporate social responsibility and increase the awareness of the benefits and the practice of corporate social responsibility. The second would be to strengthen capacities of private sector companies to be able to do corporate social responsibility type activities. Then we want to strengthen NGOs to be able to work with the private sector. What we want to do is to ensure that NGOs understand which private sector companies support what type of activities, but also we increase their capacity to ask for money, to use it well, and then to report on it.
Just, Bridgette, sorry to interrupt, but explain to our viewers what an NGO is.
A non-government organization. So an NGO would be any community group or not-for-profit group that works in the area of social, economic, or the environment.
Okay, great, thank you.
And then the final area is looking at networks, because many private sector companies are doing a lot of work. And so what we want to do is provide the space for them to be able to share with each other what they're doing, develop partnerships between them, understand best practices here in Jamaica, and also best practices overseas that we can adapt for the Jamaican realities.
What's the difference between corporate social responsibility and philanthropy?
Well, philanthropy is giving a charitable donation. So companies will give by sponsoring barbecue tickets or fundraising activities for children's homes or schools, or say the Jamaicans for Justice, going to a film premiere. That would be philanthropy. Companies also make major donations to organizations like the Jamaica Cancer Society, and that would be philanthropy.
Okay.
Corporate social responsibility usually has to the Caribbean and Latin America was remittances. And by promoting corporate social responsibility, by the bank promoting its CSR objectives by strengthening the groups, the diaspora, in terms of how they remit home, they actually increased their remittances up to 70%.
Wow, that's very impressive.
And that took 3 years in this particular example that was studied.
And are there tax incentives for companies to get involved in corporate social responsibility?
When companies make donations or support not-for-profit groups who have been given charitable status by the Ministry of Finance, then they do have tax write-offs. But in many cases, it's not about the tax incentives. It will actually be about making a difference for the community and then the tangible returns to the bottom line.
But it's also very impactful on the team members. And certainly I know here at JMMB, it's a very important part of the culture. And people want to get involved in these projects and see the company giving back.
Well, I did a survey looking at employees who are involved in companies with strong CSR programs, and what they have indicated is that they actually want to work with the company. For instance, JMMB was honored at the PSOJ luncheon last week for their staff welfare program, because staff people rate JMMB as the #1 place to work, and people who don't work at JMMB also indicate that they'd like to work here because of the CSR activities around staff welfare. But even in terms of just allowing staff an opportunity to volunteer leaves a lot of goodwill with the staff members, because they appreciate the company for being able to give them the opportunity to give back and to feel good about themselves and to make a difference in the communities that they care about.
Mm-hmm. It's also very important in terms of positioning the company as an employer of choice, because clearly people have options, and
Clearly, yes.
You know, if you can position the company in a certain way, not being harsh about it, but it definitely is of benefit both to the team members and to the company as well.
The company can then attract and keep the best employees, and that's good, because training is costly and you don't want to have a high staff turnover.
Bridgette, you mentioned a partnership between UNDP and yourselves. Talk to us about what role they play and how they bring benefit to the whole project.
Last week, we actually launched Imagine Jamaica at the PSOJ's membership luncheon. And that was a partnership where we were introducing Imagine Jamaica to PSOJ members so that they could have an opportunity to sign up and learn the ways that they can contribute. And UNDP came in as a major partner. UNDP, well, the UN system has the Global Compact, which is an agreement around development for the next 25 years. And within that, they look at the role of the private sector and the important role that the private sector can play in that conversation. And so in Jamaica, what they want to do is to develop what they call a co-financing partnership, where UNDP has a lot of technical skills and they support many programs in Jamaica. And by having the private sector afforded the opportunity to partner with them through donations or staff volunteerism, then they can actually maximize the dollars that go in to the initiatives. And the first one they're thinking of is looking at the peace program, which is to reduce crime and violence and to foster peacekeeping and support for the justice system.
So UNDP then ensures that the corporate social responsibility dollars are used effectively in partnership with the donor?
Yes, okay. Because they have the capacity to off-grant the funds and to monitor how well it's used. So the company that's in...
So they have the expertise.
They have the expertise to monitor it, and then they'll report so that the company can be assured that their funds are being well used.
That's an excellent collaboration.
It is actually an awesome opportunity for companies who don't have specific departments for CSR.
Corporate social responsibility has really taken off in this decade, but there are some people who would say that the government is foisting its responsibilities onto the private sector. What would your take on that be?